Welcome, everybody. I see you in the chat room to Broadcast Team Alpha, where we bring you cutting edge conversation while exploring the quantum possibilities. And we're going to do it a little differently tonight. You may have noticed that we don't have a guest. Aage and I have some topics that we really just want to dig into tonight. And if you would like to join in the conversation, please feel free to put your comments or your questions in the chat. If you put them in capital letters, I'll be able to see them better. And then it'll be more likely that I'll be able to get to them. But before we get started, and before I tell you a little bit about our topic, I just want to thank you guys for being here. Thank you for being here live. Thank you for the replay. Thank you for supporting our channel. If you have not yet liked and subscribed, would you please do that? That helps us with the algorithms. And you know that we live in a mind created universe, and they've found what looks like computer code in the very nature of our being. So we've got to kind of work with the algorithms also. So thank you for that. I want to invite you to the Mastermind Connection on Sunday. We get together, we have a beautiful visual meditation based on the things that we want to manifest in the world. And it is so much fun. We have guest speakers. Sometimes we watch videos, and we get into some of the deep conversations. If you ever find yourself at home or at work, like really craving somebody to have a deep conversation with because your family doesn't get it, a lot of your friends don't get it, I really encourage you to come visit us on Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern, because we get into conversations and we get into energy that is just so phenomenal and so satisfying. And we don't have all the answers, but there's a lot of satisfaction in a lot of the questions that we come up with. So if this is interesting to you, send an email to Aage at the mastermind connection at gmail.com. He'll send you the link. Come on in. Please, when you come in, just show your face so we know who you are, get to know you, and hang out with us. The first hour is pretty much the whole manifestation meditation. And then the second hour, you don't have to stay if you don't want to, but it sure is fun. We have conversations, and that's when we watch videos. So all right. Oh, I want to do a shout out to our friends at the Conscious Awakening Network. We're streaming over there and streaming on about 40 other platforms. They're just so amazing over there. They are going places that a lot of other platforms don't go, can't go, feel restricted to go. So they're creating their own way so that the topics that would get bumped, so to speak, don't get bumped over there. So free speech is really alive and well over at Conscious Awakening Network. So I highly recommend you go check it out. So before we get started, I just want to say that this is not about politics. And a lot of it is more about energy and our personal energy, our alignment, our connection with source, our connection with that beingness where we manifest from, because that's the energy that we are going to call upon when the you know what hits the fan, right? So the you know what, hitting the fan could be a little political. We're not going to get into that. We're just going to say there is a very good likelihood that it could hit the fan. There's a likelihood that we will need to be prepared in other ways, and I'm sure that those ways are going to come up in the conversation tonight, but majoritively this is about your science. It's about science and spirit, and how to take care of you and your family and your loved ones when things happen that you've never seen before, when things happen that surprise you, when things happen that you don't know if it's real or not. So, and it's also great just to run your life from that energetic alignment, because that's where all the good stuff happens. So, Aage, are you ready to dig into this?
I am ready.
I'm
And
Nori, and this is my co-host Aage Nast.
yeah, and my co-host, beautiful and intelligent Nori.
Oh my
Okay,
gosh.
now I know the next thing is that I'm schmoozing. Yeah, of course I
Ah.
am. That's my job. Anyway, this is going to be a show for the deep thinkers out there.
Seriously.
And if you are wondering, thinking maybe you're not a deep thinker, if you enjoy the show, you're a deep thinker. Really simple. Normally we plan for the shows, but we didn't do that this time. So this is going to be unscripted from the top of our head. We're going to talk about from our knowledge, our experience, and our insight. So it'll be a little different. I think we heard that before here. It's going to be a little different because we live in a very tricky world right now. There's a lot of things to worry about that people do. I don't really worry about anything anymore, but people do. That's that bad habit, you know. So we have to plan ahead. We create in our mind what we like to see, and we plan ahead. We should really plan physically, mentally, and spiritually, because we are multidimensional beings, and we should not forget the spiritual part of planning. And what else should we plan for, Nori?
Well, just talking about being a multidimensional being, I just want to mention that, or kind of dig into the fact that, we live in the holographic universe, and this moment in time and all of the other moments in time, although there is no time, um, is like looking through a beautiful faceted crystal glass. If you look through a beautiful faceted crystal glass, you're going to see one thing. If you turn it and look through different parts of the facets, you're going to see something else. And if you take away anything tonight, if you can begin to understand that the way that we look at things, even things that may show up on the world stage that look scary, we can change them. We can change our reality of that. And I just think that that is so important. Like a kaleidoscope, if you will, right? You turn it, you see something different. The same thing exists for us to use in this energetic world that we live in this quantum universe that we live in. Something very traumatic and scary could be happening on the television across the world, and you may be on the beach somewhere really safe, Why are you not in the trauma? Likely because of the way that you are holding your energetic alignment, and the energetic alignment is how your life manifests. If you say, Nori, I don't know if I'm in alignment or not, I don't know if I'm manifesting or not, the way to understand what you're manifesting or if you are in alignment is to take a look at what's happening in your life. If there's a repeating pattern of anger, if there's a repeating pattern of despair, if there's a repeating pattern of accidents or illness or things like that, that's part of the crystal glass that we're looking through. And we have the opportunity to shift that crystal glass. That's how we get to use epigenetics to heal ourselves. And this is all having to be, this is all part and parcel of our energetic alignment.
Yes. You mentioned the mind created universe. And that little term is a lot more important than people should think. Because science now, quantum mechanics, proven through repeatable experiments that yes, we do live in a mind-created universe. So that means our mind creates everything around us. So we should get into the habit or forget to think about all the garbage that happened yesterday at noon, but create in our mind something good that will happen today. And what we create today in our mind will follow us into tomorrow, because the universe only works in present moments. So it creates in the present moment here by being in our mind. And tomorrow there will be more present moments. So whatever we created here will follow us into the future. Whatever we allow to dwell in our mind the most is what we're going to have in our life. So get rid of the fear, get rid of all the anguish and everything about wars and crap going on around the world. We need to create something in our own universe right here that is good and solid.
Right. Right. And Augie, you're essentially talking to people who are not beginners or who are not new at this right now, because when you say to them get rid of the fear or create something new, a lot of those people know what the mechanics are to make that happen. But for people who are new, and if you're new at this, my heart is with you, because this is a really challenging time to be awakening to a lot of what's coming up. So let me just give you a couple of just beginning steps. So you may go, I'm manifesting this life. I mean, I've got a significant other who drives me crazy. Finances are not good. I don't like where I live. I don't like my boss. And you're telling me, Nori, that I create all this? And I know it's really hard. That's a bitter pill to swallow. But the beautiful part of it is once you understand that you do have um, the power, if you will, the power to change it and to create something different, then you won't feel so bad about the situation at hand and you can begin to change it. So, how do you begin to change it? Well, first, what do you believe in? If you look at your life and the things that you don't like about your life, Do you believe that the creation of that comes from you? And I'm asking you this way because it's very likely that those things that keep coming up that we don't like, right? We're sick, we're overweight, we have headaches, we have bad relationships. A lot of that is not your fault. A lot of that comes from a little tape that you began to run before your conscious awareness. Somewhere between being in the womb and 7 years old, you picked up what was going on around you. So Aunt Mabel had a husband who was abusive. So that tape may run in your mind and play out in your world. Your mother may have had a problem with food. So that may play out in your world. So the beautiful thing is there are these little tapes that live in our subconscious mind that are manifesting in our life. So, yes, we are creating them. But the beautiful thing is, you can begin to change them. And then, how do you begin to change them? Well, one is by becoming aware of the fact that they are tapes running in your mind and asking yourself, could the possibility exist that this does not belong to me? If you get a light feeling in your gut, guess what? That's a tape running in your subconscious mind. And you can let it go. You can learn how to not override it, but how to replace it with the tape that you want to see playing out in your world. You get to replace it with a beautiful relationship. You get to replace it with comfortable finances. You get to replace it with health. You get to replace it with a nervous system that is regulated so that if scary things do come up, you're going to be okay. Aage, I know you have something to say about this.
Yeah, I can do nothing but agree to all that because I have experienced some of that and I've seen it. And remember also that who we are associating with is very important. We should hang around people that we trust, people we can learn from and accept the learning, and also people that we have fun with. Just try to have a little fun in our life. And we can do that. Hopefully, those people that you are associating with and having your inner circle are family. If it's not family, like myself, I don't really have much for family except for I got housemates and I trust them. So we can also associate, and I do that every day. I associate with Greg Braden, Joe Dispenza, and others. Now, I'm not in their presence doing that, but I watch their videos, I read books about them, and that is a form of association which also will make us stronger mentally and spiritually, so we can handle more adversity. If it comes our way, we can deflect it so it doesn't get stuck in our presence. And that is very important because I have learned an awful lot from Greg Braden.
Mm-hmm. And we are the manifestation of the five closest people in our world. So that's so Aage, Augie point is well taken here. So if there's people in your life that don't have the character or the traits or the energy that you want in you, well, then you can leave them with love, leave them with love, and intend for people of higher energy to come to you. And it doesn't have to be family. You can create your family. And during the time that you may find yourself alone, because you may go, oh my gosh, I don't even like the 5 people that are in my world right now. During this time that you find yourself kind of solo, this is a good time to make Joe Dispenza, um, um, Greg Braden, Bashar, Abraham Hicks, um, um, give me some others, Florence Chauvel-Shin, make them your 5 people in your world, and listen to them, watch a video of them every day until, and by virtue of doing that, you're going to raise your vibration, and you're going to be drawing people into your life that is of a higher vibration. And that's going to be your new family. That's going to be your support system. That's going to be your energetic or your light family. And you get to do that. And this is how you shape your outside world. And those people that come in, like the people that are close to me, I know that if the stuff hits the fan, that I can count on them. I can
Yeah.
count on them. If the grid goes down, I've got people here that I know that I can count on. And, and it's worth saying that even though we're talking about energetic preparedness, it's worth saying that having your stored water and having your stored rations and having your stored sanitation items, things that you may need, bleach or whatever you might need, sanitation items, and canned food. I mean, it doesn't hurt, right? If the grid never goes down, it's not going to hurt you to have all that. But if it offers you a sense of peace, guess what? That raises your vibration.
Yeah.
Then your nervous system is more balanced. And then what happens? You're going to be manifesting on a higher level.
Absolutely. And I tell you, you brought this up, and that is very important because the government has been telling us for months now that the grid will go down. So they plan to do it. So plan ahead, medication and all the things that she talked about. You got to have at least maybe a month or 2 or so. And once you have it, it creates a form of peace of mind that you're going to be safe whatever happens. And then get to know your neighbors. And that is very important because when things, the stuff happens, you're going to need a community. There is neighbors that think like you do, and some other ones that don't think like you do. They're going to become very quickly to think like you do because then they see what you do. And then they will become supportive and helpful. And you got to remember, hoping for something is not a plan.
No.
We got to plan. That plan has got to be in concept and detail. And when we do that, there goes again, the vibration of you goes up so you can feel that peace of mind. And when others ask you what you're doing or something, you can help them. And again, that rises you more. And be around people that you trust is very important. And create that trust within your inner circle or your family. That should probably be the same thing. And when you have that, there is an awful lot of strength in family. There's loyalty.
And it could be the family that you create, your energetic family, your light family.
Yes.
And
Yep.
and and you may think, I don't know, what is this, the grid? I don't understand this. And what could I possibly contribute? And I'm prepared if the grid goes down. I'm prepared to contribute my healing and my medical skills. I've been compiling a very detailed first aid kit that would cover a lot of possibilities if needed. So what is your gift? Maybe you can build stuff. Maybe you can things, right? There's all kinds of things that are in your heart's highest good that you like to do that will help with preparedness. And the beautiful thing is, if it's in your heart's highest good that you love canning or you love growing or you love healing, here goes your energy up again. And the more that you spend time in the higher vibrations, the more that you're going to be steady and stable and prepared to go, what the heck is that on the TV? Is that real? Instead of reacting, because you've been working on your personal energy, your alignment, you're able to sit back and go, yeah, you know what? I don't think that this is real. I think it is Memorex or a psyop or whatever. There's a little government thing there. Sorry, but you know what I mean. You know what I'm saying. And the whole, not the whole foundation of this conversation, but a lot of it is what you can do energetically so that no matter what happens, you're going to be okay. And not only are you going to be okay, you're going to help other people be okay.
Yep, absolutely. And we need to control our mind, or more so direct our mind a little bit better than we normally do, because a lot of times we think about that garbage that happened yesterday at noon, and it pops up every so often. But according to neuroscience, actually, when we think about something negative or something really bad, that creates an image in our mind that really the brain releases chemicals that goes in the blood and gets everywhere in the body and decreases our resistance to disease. And when that happens, if there is illness or disease around us, we're more apt to be getting it. So that is another reason why we should stay positive, because when you're a positive thinker, you know the problem, you analyze it, and then once you understand it, you don't have to think about it anymore. You know it's there. Now you bury yourself in the problem-solving process and thinking positively about being able to overcome it.
Overcome. Exactly. And, with a lot of what could happen, could bring a lot of fear and anxiety. So, in addition to the physical preparedness that we talked about, it's so important that you get selfish, with your self care and your self preparedness. So, what does that mean? It's going to be unique for every person. There is no, cookie cutter, one size fits all, but it's what do you need to bring peace the most? What is that one thing that you go, oh my God, if I could just get rid of this one thing that I do, I would be happy. I would be better. I would be whatever, right? So maybe it's anxiety. Maybe it's anger. Maybe it's jealousy. Maybe it could be anything. So that means that a great place to start is to pull inward, right? Figure out what it is that you want to shift, and begin by taking care of yourself. You can't change the problem from the energy with which it was created. So if it's anger, if it's jealousy, if it's fear, you have to raise your energy in order to begin to work on that, to begin to move it out of the way. So, what does that look like for you? Does that look like saying your devotions in the morning? Does that look like doing breathing practices? Does that look like stretching and doing yoga? Does that look like changing what you eat so that you're healthier? Right? It's very unique to you, but the important thing is to just begin. And
Yeah.
if I could offer a really good starting point, it's in that moment, right when you wake up in the morning, before you start thinking about, oh God, I got to do this, I got to do that, I'm almost late, right? That moment where you're still between here and there, and there's that peace, and there's that kind of fuzzy floatiness. Just dial into that, just tune into that feeling and say, I want more of this. It can be that easy. That's a great way to begin. And your subconscious mind, if you tell your subconscious mind, I want more of this peaceful, connected, aligned feeling, your subconscious mind is going to go out and start finding things to bring to you so that you have more of that. All you have to do, and it's tricky sometimes, is to be ready to notice that it's coming, because sometimes it comes very quietly. Sometimes it comes intuitively. Sometimes it comes as that sweet, silent, that sweet, quiet little voice. So we have to be prepared to look out for it. And, it's not going to happen overnight, but the fact that you get to do it 3 out of 7 days, 4 out of 7 days, 80/20, man, you are doing something. You are about taking care of yourself, preparing yourself, and building your energetic alignment so that no matter what happens, you're going to be okay. You're not only going to be okay, you're going to be good.
Absolutely. I mentioned earlier that we should direct or control our mind a little bit. There is a very simple trick to that. It's called mantras. If you have something that you can say, I am better and better every day, or I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. Those things, if you keep saying them over and over and over again in your mind, it blocks negative thoughts, and you are imprinting that on the neural network by repetition, so it starts showing up in your life. And that works. In fact, come and join us in the mastermind connection also, because we do these things and we create out of seemingly nothing sometimes. So that's another reason. And also, though, there's a way to reprogram your subconscious mind. And if you go to Broadcast Team Alpha on YouTube, become a member. We have several videos in there how to reprogram your mind for different things, for good health, accepting good health and implementing that in the body, as well as success and quit smoking and whatever you want to do. If you become a member of Broadcast Team Alpha on YouTube, you can do these things, and it works because it works while you are asleep. And you don't have much of conscious interference when you sleep because your brainwave pattern dumps itself all the way down into theta. Same frequency range as under hypnosis. And some of you know, under hypnosis, you can do amazing things. You also can when you sleep, because you listen to this going over endless recording. You hear it hundreds of times during the night, and it make an imprint on the subconscious mind, and things start happening what you are hearing because the mind accepts it. That's
Exactly. And that's where that tape that we were talking about earlier that got embedded in your subconscious mind between 0 and 7, that's where that tape keeps running. So when you listen, when you listen to the video recording, the audio recording, or you can make your own endless loop, right, of whatever it is that you need. I'm happy, healthy, and I don't know, I'm happy, healthy, and peaceful, or whatever it is that's important to you. You can make that loop, and then as your subconscious mind, right, as the chattery part of your mind goes to sleep, those beautiful words of really what you want to happen begin to slide in, and that tape that is manifesting the stuff that you don't want slides out and it gets replaced. And when we say affirmations, it's doing the same thing with that tape, because that's where it all is. It's all in our subconscious mind. You can write your affirmations, which I highly recommend. I recommend writing them 3 times with your dominant hand, 3 times with your non-dominant hand, and then reading them out loud. And you're like, oh, Nori, come on, really? And I know it sounds simplistic, or it sounds like something that isn't that powerful, but I'm telling you, it is really powerful. And it's the beginning stages, it's the intermediate stages, it's the advanced stages as well, of learning how to have your alignment, your energetic alignment, where you want it all the time. That means that your life, your emotions, your health, your feelings flow the way that you want them to flow at least 80% of the time. We're not perfect. We never get it right. We never get it done. That's classic Abraham. But 80% of feeling decent, feeling neutral to good, I'll take that. I'll take that. And it's in that energy that your awareness and your consciousness becomes more acute, so that when silly things happen around us, we know exactly how to handle it. Exactly how to handle it. And
Yep.
if you're new to this, or if you've tried it a lot and it's not worked for you, there's a ton of people. Does it even surprise us why there are so many coaches, hypnotherapists, healers, sound practitioners, Thai people, Qigong people? Does it even surprise us why there are so many right now? Because we need it. We need it for what is here. We need it for what is coming. So if you need to reach out for assistance in order to get yourself to where you want to be, this is a great time to do it. No shame in that game. Absolutely not. Mm-hmm. Right on.
Yeah.
And coming to the mastermind will give you a little taste of it. I mean, it can be as easy as sitting back and meditating with beautiful visualizations and waking up and feeling like you just had a massage and a nap, and your energy is different. It can be that simple. But we have to do it. We have to try to be mindful to not allow that tape, right, that pulls us into anger, pulls us into fear, pulls us into despair, to not pull us. This is where we go, what do I believe in and what do I want to change? And then you make that decision. I want to change that tape that's playing. And that's your intention. And that's your beginning. And that's when you shift the crystal faceted glass and you start seeing your world differently.
Absolutely. I did mention it before that we should hang around positive, successful people.
Hey, baby.
That's a hard one sometimes because what if your brother-in-law is just a bum and there's nothing positive about him? Well, you don't have to spend a lot of time with him. You can still love him at a distance. But what if it's closer? What if it is a spouse? Now, that gets tricky sometimes, but don't give up on it because you know what you need to do. Do the right thing. Stay the positive course. And he or she is going to look at you as an example. It's not going to take long before they're starting to get used to some of that, and it will raise their vibration. They will come closer to you, and you will show them by example that there's a better way than going out getting drunk on Saturday night. So give them a chance because they are worth it. At one point in time in the past, you thought they were wonderful people, otherwise, you wouldn't have married them. So just give it a little time. Grin and bear it until you can see the change because the change will come. And encourage also a spouse to start reading some of the stuff from Greg Braden or other people or my books. It is something that changes people's lives and is worth lifting family out if they are in a doldrum somewhere. It's worth giving them a chance to rise if there may be sometime it is unsolvable. But I would say worry about that one if you find it to be so. Don't start thinking that, oh, this is not going to work. Yeah, when you tell the subconscious mind that, the subconscious mind is going to say, okay, I'll work with that. I'll make it not work. Well, I'm playing on words here, but these are the things that happen.
They are. And I would love to give you a tip, a tool. I would love to give you a tool for those relationships, especially if it's an intimate one, like every day. Excuse me, that is not going well, has not been going well. And I know the tools sound so simple. It takes a little bit of willpower to do it, but I promise you, they are energetically power packed. So if you're in a relationship where that person is absolutely driving you crazy, get a little notebook. Remember the notebooks we used to write our homework on? Maybe one of those, right? Because you don't want it to be conspicuous. You know, you're kind of doing a secret mission. You get a notebook, and this is classic Abraham Hicks, and you begin, and you're going to be, Nori, you got to be kidding me. I can't even stand the way he breathes, but you're going to begin to look for the positive aspects of your significant other. And you may be so fried and frazzled and annoyed that you can't find one right now. But later, you may go, you know what? He always does the dishes. You know, that's really nice. And you write that in your little notebook. You might just write, does dishes. And then maybe later you realize that every morning he does something for you. What is the energy underneath that? Maybe he makes you coffee every morning. The energy beneath that, even though the other parts of him make you crazy, or her make you crazy, there's a certain generosity, right? There's a certain amount of givingness that comes from them making you coffee. So that's a positive aspect that you want to write down. And then keep it in your purse, or keep it where he can't see it or she can't see it. Um, and continue to add to it. And what's going to happen? Your energy level is going to rise because you're no longer looking at or feeling the angst of all the things that you don't like about them. And you're raising your energy, and either their energy will come with you, they will raise their energy, or because of the way that energy works, there will be an energetic mismatch, and you will fall out of each other's now moment. You will fall out of the relationship. And you're like, a little notebook, Nori, that we used to write homework on is really going to make this happen. I promise you, if you work it, it works. I promise it will work. So I hope, if you are in, turmoil, or in a really, unhappy relationship, it can be with your boss, it can be with your sibling. If you try that, see what happens. And I would welcome every email to let me know what happens. Broadcastteamalpha.com, please. No, broadcastteamalpha at gmail.com. I would love to know what happens, because it's energy and it works every time. And I know I'm on my soapbox, but go ahead, Aage. I'm on my soapbox.
Yeah, but that's a good box to be on. Now, there's also a saying out there, and that is that people who pray together stay together. If you and your spouse pray together, you're gonna work things out. Another thing is that oh gosh, what was I going to say? Yeah, okay. I want to talk to the men out there, because us men, we are kind of superficial a lot of times, and we are insensitive.
What? No.
We are unsensitive without even knowing it or thinking it sometimes. But be good to your women in your life, because she creates things out of nothing sometimes. You give her a house, she will create a home. You give her groceries, she creates a meal. And I can go on a bunch of things like that, because they are the cornerstone of a home.
And
I
that's lovely. And that's lovely. And that's lovely. And if you have your partner to co-create with, then you are that much more powerful
Yeah.
to manifest. Um, you can't co-create in each other's life unless you give each other permission. But if you can co-create with your partner, oh my goodness, God bless you. Good for you. Good for you. But the truth is, it all begins inside us. So if we realize that we are insensitive, and women can be insensitive too, it's not gender specific, right? It's just a matter of becoming aware and noticing those things that make us uncomfortable. Like, oh man, why did I say that? That was insensitive. And then, of course, the best thing to do is just apologize as quickly as possible. But it all begins within. And when we begin to look at those things that we would prefer not playing out in our life, then we're available to create more. Then we're even more available to co-create with our partner, with our friends, with our light family that we create. There's so much that you can do. You just have to begin. You just have to take that first step.
Yep, absolutely. And if we got to take care of ourselves. if the chips are down and let's say the grid goes out or you have other calamities happening, it is difficult because our attention is out there looking at what happened. Once we understand it, we analyze it, forget it. Now take care of ourselves. Take care of our family. Take care of our inner circle, our neighbors, whatever, whoever we are with. But don't forget ourselves, because if we don't take care of ourselves, we can't help other people either. We gotta stay strong, and that is why we need, oh, this is gonna hit home. We need to exercise. Exercise. And that's what Nori is exercising every day. I do it, and most of the people I know are doing it.
And you
But
know what?
there's a, yeah,
I, I like what you're saying, Augie. And in addition to, the awareness of what we need to shift, I think that's really good advice. To like, this is, and that's what I meant by start to become selfish. Start to become selfish with your self-care. And I'm sure Augie doesn't mean that we need to go out and run 6 miles, but if you get up in the morning, and if you haven't worked with your body in a long time, just start something easy. Maybe just really stretch, just feel back into your body. And you may say, oh my god, my body hurts so bad, I don't even want to move it. But you may find that if you move it to the first degree of tension, instead of moving it too far, that it'll feel good. That shoulder that hurt might feel better. The neck that's always giving you a headache might lighten up. And you're like, what does this have to do with energy? It has everything to do with energy, because the energy flows through our body, and the way that we feel in our body creates the way that we direct our thoughts. So it's a body, mind, spirit, and soul kind of holistic combination that we're inviting you to think about. You don't have to make a big change. You don't have to get up in the morning and go to the gym. You don't have to get up in the morning and meditate for an hour. We're just inviting you. We're just offering things, and we don't do all of them. We're still working on ourselves too. We're just offering ideas and thoughts and possibilities that you might go, you know what? I could do that. And then just begin that, because new things that we have never seen before are likely going to show up.
yep,
And do you want to be ready, or do you want to be ready?
yeah. After
I
what
want.
I said, yeah, after what I said last about exercising, I could just feel there was a lady out there sitting in a wheelchair, and she thought, I can't do that. Yes, you can, because there are exercises you can do without standing on your feet. And that is one thing that I know you're good at, Nori, because I've seen some of the results from the people you're working with, and holy moly, they have come from just really lousy to really examples of really good health. And I would say out there, get a hold of Nori if you want to hear about nutrition and exercise and things like that, because that is what she does. And you can pick her brain, and you'll be a better person for it. I had to do that plug because I've seen what you do.
Thanks, Augie.
So,
And
yeah,
and I appreciate that so much, but it's not just physical. It's not just physical. It's body, mind, spirit, and soul. I have somebody that I've been working with for a long time, and she is nearly of athletic um, performance now. When I met her, she kept falling down. She was falling down and for no reason. And it's been a couple of years, but you have to know that during the time that I've worked with her, we've been talking about the spirit. We've been talking about energy. When we're warming up, I'll say something like, okay, and give me, 4 shoulder rolls, healthy shoulders for life. Give me 3 squats, healthy hips for life. So those tapes, right, that we're running in our brain, right, are being replaced very gently when you're not really aware of it during moments like that.
Yeah.
So anyway, thanks, Augie. It is important. It is important to have your physical vehicle to the best tune-up you can get it, because then we can hold more light in our light body. And that's a whole other conversation that we probably should have in the not too distant future.
Yeah, and that's it. We are multidimensional beings, and that's why you train people in the physical and the mental part, but you also go into the spiritual part if they want it. And that is important to have all 3 of those concepts together, because if you only are concentrating on 2 of them, there's a void on the 3rd one. And voids always seems to fill in with something. So make sure you want that something to fill in that you would like to see in that place. And that could be anything from meditation, that could be prayer, that could be quiet contemplation, spiritual studies, if it's in the spiritual area. And there we go again, watch the videos of Greg Braden and others and myself and Nori, because we delve into those areas quite a bit. And I think, gosh, we're getting down towards the end here, but I
Yeah.
want to say one thing for the people that wonder what's going to happen that could scare the chocolate out of me. Well, you don't really know yet, but if you wake up one morning and see thousands of UFOs in the sky, know one thing, it's a fake alien invasion. If you have other things, consider not only what you see, but what's behind it. And then work out the details of what you need to do to protect yourself. Those details are available on YouTube University. You'll find them all over that place. They speak better about protecting yourself physically than I would like to do.
And I want to say one thing. So if you're overwhelmed, you're like, oh my God, body, mind, spirit, and soul, I got to pull this all together. Here's the bright side of it. Start where you need to start. If you need to start with your body, start with your body. If you need to start with your spirit, start with your spiritual work. If you need to start with your mind, start with that. But stay with whatever you start with. If you start a spiritual program, stay with it, because I promise you, when you get into a certain depth of it, you're going to go, oh, you know what? Maybe I'll start working on my body. And then you will naturally pull that in. So I don't want you to be overwhelmed thinking, oh my God, I've got to do all these things tomorrow, so I'm going to be okay when the fake alien invasion. You don't have to do that. Just begin. Just begin with what makes sense for you, and know that the universe has your back, and you are always safe and protected if you intend for that.
Yeah.
I protect my house, myself, my people every single day in the energy of the divine, and that's even a good place to start too.
Yeah.
We
Absolutely.
are done. We are done.
Yeah, absolutely. And then there's a special day that you should start these things, and that is today. Because most people, they was, I want to start someday. I know about Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, but someday isn't in my week.
That's true. That's true. Just a little something something to start with.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. It's just so easy to put off. So thank you for being with us. Well, this was fun, Augie. This was a very holistic and I think
Yes.
helpful conversation. I know I am inspired myself, to
I did.
take my health and my well-being and my consciousness and my spirituality, even higher, because I want to be prepared and I want to be available. I
Yeah.
am of service.
Yeah.
So,
This was really good. It kind of reminds me of some of the conversations that we have had that we
mm,
should have recorded because they would make great shows. But
thanks, Augie.
folks, yeah, folks, if you enjoy what you heard and what you saw, please subscribe. That'll help us a lot. And until then, next time, be good.